Do you want to know how to get your husband to take out the trash without trashing your marriage? We've got the answers for you right here. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richeimer. We have an amazing show with an amazing, yummy person. It's Chaya Reich, and she is a writer. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a college teacher. She's a marriage mentor. She speaks for Gateway. She speaks for Torah Anytime. She speaks for, what else am I forgetting? Oh, Gift of Mikvah. She's just a ball of fire. You're going to love her, and she's got a lot to say about how to get your husband to take out the trash. Welcome to the show, Chaya. Very happy to have you on.
Okay, welcome everyone. I am so excited to be here. And I have to tell you, but I just have to say it, I've been wanting to meet you forever, ever since this book. So I just have to tell everyone that I kind of feel like I'm with a movie star, like a rock star. Like I am so excited to finally meet you. Yes, I'm loving this book and I recommend it to everyone because let me tell you what I love about this. I want everyone to hear this.
They're going to be bored. They want to talk about trash. They don't want to
love this. I want people to know that this is great because it gives you actual practical tips to do. And that's why it's great.
Okay, you pulled a fast one on me, lady. Now talk about trash.
Okay, now I'm going to give you ladies tips, okay? So here goes. We're going to get tips today, just like this book. We're going to learn tips today. But before we get there, we need to be dressed for success. So I'm assuming we have out there working women. We have out there stay-at-home mommies, right? We have both.
Write it in. Anyone who's watching, type in, if you're a mommy or, like, let's hear from you. Okay, go ahead. And also, if you have questions while she's going, we want to hear them. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you go out into the world and you're actually dressed and you look like a minch, right? When you go out to the world, right? Everybody does that. You wouldn't go out into the world looking like you do at home sometimes, okay? And your husband's going out there.
With COVID, thank you very much. Like what someone said, wait a sec, do I change into new pajamas at night? Because they were spent the day in pajamas. So yes, we are with you. We want to know how to dress for success. Good, we're with you.
It's kind of like interesting because when I talk about this, we're at different times. So I'm going to have to change things around here. We're in very different times now. So, right?
Very
so
crazy.
Kind of, sometimes what's happening is we're going to our bedrooms to teach on Zoom or whatever we're doing, or to do business, or for a lawyer or a doctor, whatever we're doing. We're in a quiet space and we're on Zoom and we're coming out of our bedrooms, right? Usually we're coming home from work. So what happens when we go out to work? We're dressed like a mensch, and our husbands who are out there, even if they're Zooming, they're seeing women dressed like this. Okay, they could be in pajama bottoms, but anyway, they're seeing this, okay? Someone that looks together, that looks great, right? They come home from the end of the day, or maybe just walk into the next room these days, and they kiss them as a mwah, and they're looking forward to seeing their beautiful wife that is so gorgeous and so lovely, and who we married a year ago, or 25 years ago, or 35 years ago, okay? And she is on her way home from work. And the first thing she does is she opens up the front door and the mask comes off. And after the mask, the shaitel goes flying off. I usually tell my neighbor, could you shut the front door before the shaitel comes off? It's just going to see in your head, And then the next thing she does is kick off her shoes. And she gets into the biggest schmata she can finally put on in the house.
I hope you're not going to say there's something wrong with this, because Adam, we need some technical difficulties, Adam. We need right
now. Schmata being like a piece of, how would you describe schmata?
Schmata is a rag.
Okay, let me explain.
There's some people who won't understand some of the things. Yeah, just go ahead with the story. It's okay.
No, I'm going to translate. So schmata means like this, okay? You're wearing your old sweat clothes, your old sweatshirt from camp. Let's say you went to a camp called Banos, except you went there 15 years ago. So the N is missing and it just says boss. Okay? And you come with that old sweatshirt that just says boss to the front door. Okay? Now, you were taking care of the kids and making dinner, right? So over here is tomato sauce, and over here is some paint from the project you did, and across your stomach is a nice big piece of oil because you just fried chicken cutlets. Okay?
Do you have a camera into my house is what I want to know, because that's kind of what it sounds like.
And then you come to the door and your husband who's walking in and he's ready to see that beautiful wife, or he's coming into the next room to see his beautiful wife. He walks in and says, "Hi, I'm home, daddy, tati, hubby," whatever he calls himself. "I'm home." And who comes to greet him? Shmata in full gear. She's wearing a potato sack, sometimes even a potato sack on her head and on her body. And she smiles, "Hi." The lipstick is long gone. Over here is green kale, because green kale salad's really healthy. Everybody's eating that now. And here's the green kale salad, and it's balanced off by chocolate. Any chocoholics out there? Leah?
By the way, we do have an Instagrammer who said they went to Campanos 15 years ago. So
there you go. Do you have a sweatshirt that says boss?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so I just want to say that we got to be dressed for success, and I'll give you practical right now. Lipstick, have one in the car. Have one downstairs, have one upstairs, have one in your pocketbook, because you never know when he's going to show up. Okay? And a woman always looks better with a little lipstick. Make sure your teeth do not have all those reminders of what went on today. Okay? And take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes to pull yourself together. Comb your hair, comb your shaitel, have your makeup on. It takes 5 minutes. That's all. And it's incredible.
So you're saying, what does this have to do with taking out the trash, getting your husband to do what you want?
Let me tell you.
I mean, that seems like, I know you're making it's only 5 minutes, but then it's 10 minutes to get the stupid thing off, makeup off. And then it's like, oh, I worked out in the morning and now should I get into my nice outfit with, before I and I'm not going to shower to put on this. You know what I'm saying? Like this, it's a little bit more complicated, a little more steps.
Okay, that is true, except when we're dressed for success, we can be successful. So we're going to get to it.
Okay.
But when a woman looks better and she says, "Honey, can you please take out the garbage?" You definitely will get a better response than when you come and with a boss across here. You'll definitely get a better response. But we're going to get to it in detail.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay, fine.
I promise.
Fine.
Okay. So words are very powerful, ladies. They're really powerful. The Medrash tells us that words can be used to build or to destroy. Let's talk about the guy who can't sing, never sings. Okay, new bride and groom. And I ask him, "Why can't you sing?" privately. And he says, "I'll tell you the truth. When I was a teenager and I sang in the car with my friends, they said, 'Stop croaking. You sound like a frog.' And he said, 'I shut my mouth forever.'" Let's talk about the girl who dreamt to be an artist, but she was an accountant and she was in college and she went to art class dreaming after she did her painting, and the professor came to tell her about her painting, and she was dreaming all night. He's going to say, "You're the next Van Gogh. You're incredible. Drop accounting. You need to be painting." And she's waiting for that. And he comes and he looks at her painting and he says, "What's your major, young lady?" And she says, "Accounting," thinking in her head, "How ridiculous is that? Accounting." And he goes, "Good." She throws away her paints forever. The woman never paints again. So words can be used to build.
I've got like goosebumps.
Or destroy.
Cry.
Yeah, that's a bad story. It's a true story, real true story. And I have many, many more, but let's go on. So Shlomo HaMelech told us that death and life are in the power of the tongue, okay? So it's a sin to hurt someone's feelings with words, even in private, when only the speaker and the subject are present. In such a case, the words would not be considered evil speech, but they would be considered hurtful, harmful words. Now, when is that? That's husband and wife, right? Only the speaker, two people are present, or it could be mother and teenage daughter, right? True?
Yeah.
So I want to tell you an incredible story. I heard this at a Tisha B'Av event from Rabbi Eli Mansour, but I'm taking poetic license to change the whole story around. Okay. He said it from man to woman. I'm going to say it from woman to man.
Okay.
So this man comes to the rabbi and he says, "My wife is criticizing me day and night. I can't take it anymore. I can't be married. I can't take this marriage anymore. So the rabbi says to him, okay, go to Home Depot, get a big block of wood, get a whole bunch of nails. And every time your wife says a criticism, you go and you bang a nail into the wood. But don't fight, don't scream, don't yell. The kids are listening. Go do that. So he says, yes, Rabbi. Okay, he goes home. Listen to what she said to him that were criticisms. You ready? Hey, did you see Rachel's new kitchen? Shlomi, your friend, must be doing very well. I mean, there's 4 sinks in that kitchen. Did you see the Gold's new matching SUVs? A his and a hers. Mr. Gold is so creative. You wearing that tie? You look like a clown. He gets his hair cut. He comes home and she says, that's tragic. She says to him, mach ye payas. They look like Lakshan. For those that don't understand that, make your sideburns. They look like noodles. Okay? And it goes on and on. What about if you gain some weight? And she says, look at you. You look like you're expecting.
This is very depressing. I didn't know this.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to get to the good stuff in a minute. Okay, I want you to hear what he thought.
Yeah, you look like you're expecting could be more like you and I look like we're both having babies, because I've said that. I've definitely said that at points where I'm like, which one of us is pregnant, you or me?
Wait, you've said that to who?
To my husband, where he was like gaining weight while I was pregnant during my pregnant times. And I was sometimes like, would make jokes about it, thinking it was cute. Like, you know, which one of us is pregnant, you or me? And it might not have been so funny now when I'm hearing Rebbetzin Chaya Reich explain it as something that he needs to be nailing.
I think during pregnancy, it's different because you're kind of eating a lot together.
Okay, good.
You're good. I'm talking about when your youngest baby's 15. So I'm not talking about during pregnancy.
Okay, all right. So you're off. You got to pass on that one.
Thank you, Leah.
I want to give you a few more things. Your brother's always learning at the rabbi's shir. Did you see your sister's diamond necklace? You didn't? Are you blind? When she came to dinner, they didn't need lights. Okay. I'm giving you ideas of, your brother's always helping with the kids every single time I called. Okay, I think you got enough.
Yeah, okay.
Finally, she asked him, I'm talking to you. I'm sitting and talking to you. And every single time I'm talking to you, you're banging. What are you banging? So he looks at her and he says, well, and he tells her the whole story about the rabbi. And that every time she's saying things, he's banging nails. And she feels terrible. She goes, what do you mean? These are not criticisms. I'm just telling you what's going on. That's all. I mean, come on. And she goes up to her room. She calls her friend, and her friend tells her. She calls her college teacher, and her college teacher tells her, yes, a man sees this as criticisms when you're comparing him and you're talking about everything else everyone else is getting. And she starts crying. She feels terrible. And she comes downstairs and she says to him, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not going to do it anymore, but I only under one circumstance. He says, what's that? And she says, it's really, really hard for me. And ladies, we're going to learn this today. It's really hard for me. But every time that I'm ready to say something negative, I'm going to switch it to a positive compliment. And when I do, I want you to go and take out a nail, because his wood was full of nails now. I want you to go and take out a nail. So he says, okay, it's a deal. And she's learning, and she gets a mentor, and she's trying, and she's saying to him, you look so nice going out to that wedding, and thank you for taking the garbage out. Mm-hmm. You really saved me time. And she says to him, thanks for picking up the dry cleaning, and thanks for thinking of me and doing those dishes tonight. And she's really trying to compliment him. And, she says, oh, you look so handsome tonight. And he says, because she never does that. And she's just really trying. Anyway, she does really great, and it's incredible. And here's the piece. The nails were all out. And he comes to her with the nails all out. And he says to her, the nails are all out, but look at all these holes. My holes are irreparable. Leah, there are ladies out there that are walking around with holes. There are people, there are children, there are men that are walking around with irreparable holes. So we have to know that we don't want to be one of those people making holes in other people. And that's why we're here, because we want to change. That's why we're listening. So let's never allow ourselves to get to that point where the holes in someone we love, whether it's our husband, whether it's our teenager, whether it's our child, whether it's our mother-in-law, are irreparable. Let's never get there.
Does Rebbetzin think that they can ever be repaired?
Oh, I was just going to, somebody just asked, what happens if you already made the holes? Does that mean that that's it? Like, how do you fix it? How do you patch the holes?
I mean, learning how not to do them again.
Yeah, awesome. Amazing. But now when you're married like 20 years and you've already done them for the last 20.
So it's really, really hard work. And you're going to really have to work hard at repairing it and fixing it in many ways. Not only this, but in the whole way that you interact with each other. So yes, it could be repairable, but it means a lot of change on your part and a lot of really being aware of every one of your actions, not only your words, but even your actions, physically what you do. And even the way, like if you go, oh, you really look nice. Like that's not going to make it. It has to be, you look great. And women will tell me that's not my style. Like I'll have callers that come to me and they'll say, I'm really great at cooking and I can make a gourmet meal. And I'm really great at ironing and I can iron better than the dry cleaner. But Mrs. Reich, I just want you to know that I'm not really good at complimenting. And then I'll go, oh, that's good. So instead of teaching you 24 hours, I'll be teaching you over 30 hours because that's not okay. So if you don't know how to compliment and you're married 20 years, you need to learn how to compliment. And there's plenty of places to go out there. Leah has plenty of classes. I'm doing a series of classes coming up now. There's plenty of stuff out there. There's books you can read. You can take a mentor that can help you. But you can't just say, I'm sorry, I don't compliment. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work. So my answer to that is start complimenting. Start working on yourself. Start being positive. People need positivity in their lives. And we're seeing right now in the middle of COVID, that this is really what we need in our lives, a lot of positives.
Yeah. So also the other thing, and just so people know, when beating yourself up about past abuses or not abuse, but past things that you regret, looking at regrets or whatever, if you're using that to say, oh, what's the point, and it just can make you feel hopeless. But if you use it to say regret and guilt is fantastic, if it bolsters you, and this is why I think God created it, if it bolsters you forward and gives you motivation to try and be better, fantastic. So for the holes that you've already created, don't worry about those this very minute. What we're going to learn to do, I hope, is she's going to walk us through the steps of complimenting and how to do that to move forward. Thinking about how to do the past. If you are sitting there in a relationship, and let's say you have a relationship, let's say you have somebody who, let's say your boss, you have, whether you're working full time or anything, and they call and they're always harsh with you. And why did you do it that way? I told you 10 times to do it this way. And you're like, no, you never did. But they're always criticizing. And then suddenly, so there's a lot of holes. You're walking around with your wood is completely filled with holes. And all of a sudden you do a job for them and whatever. And maybe they're listening to this show right now. So if you're a boss, you could take this on. But maybe your boss heard this and your boss said, okay, I'm going to start complimenting instead of criticizing. And I'm going to do, from now on. So next time you're talking to your boss and you do something, you hand it in and you kind of brace yourself for the comment that you know is coming. And they say, hey, this is a pretty good job. You're like, oh, wow. And then it happens again. And then it happens again and again and again. In a while, the holes will be fading into the background. It'll be filled with all kinds of compliments. And then at a later date, maybe your boss will say, maybe you'll have a chance, you'll get closer to your boss because you always feel closer to people who compliment you. So you get closer to your boss and after 6 months or something, you say, I have a question for you. when I first started working here for the first 20 years, no, for the first, whatever, 5 years or whatever, when I first started working here, it seemed like you criticized a lot. And I found it so inspiring that you turned into this person that I love working for. How did you do that? It's really so awesome. And then that gives them the opportunity to say, it's true. I saw Rebbetzin Chaya Reich on the Ladies TalkShow. And her and Leah Richeimer. And, it just kind of shifted where I was holding. And I'm really, really sorry about all of the criticism I used to give you. And that will kind of what is that stuff, that Bondo that you can pour into wood?
Yeah.
It makes it look like wood. You know what I mean? It gives them the opportunity. But the start is 6 months of really working hard at complimenting. So, okay, let's go back. We have a lot of subjects. On number 1, we have to get to number 2. I want to get life and death are in the power of the tongue. And what's the most important? We did that. Okay. What's the most important thing for a man to make his wife happy? I want to hear that.
We're getting there. Now, Leah, thank you very much for saying that. That was huge. And I left that out. And so you're filling in my hole. So thank you for filling in my hole.
Good.
And I will also tell you that Rebbe Tehila Abramov, who trained me to be a college teacher, always said that there's no guilt in Judaism. If you didn't do it and now you're doing it, go forward. That's not a Jewish idea.
Oh, that's so funny because Jewish guilt is like a thing.
I know. Yeah. You know the joke about Jewish guilt.
What's that?
Can I tell you that joke?
Yeah.
There's a Jewish grandmother and an Italian grandmother. So the Jewish grandmother says to the kid, the Italian grandmother says to the kid, eat the pasta, to the grandchild. Eat the pasta. If you don't eat the pasta, I'll kill you. And the Jewish grandmother says, Shefer Lazizkai, eat the lakshin, eat the noodles. If you don't eat the noodles, I'll kill myself. It's true.
It's really funny. Right? Okay, good.
So, there's no such thing as Jewish guilt, okay?
Okay.
But that's why we have tshuva. So you're right, and thank you so much for saying that, because that was you. So let's go on to the next point. The most important thing for a man is to make his wife happy. Happy wife, happy life. The problem is us. Sometimes we just don't let him make us happy. So we're going to learn how to let him make us happy. And one little piece we're going to learn today, which is verbal. And how will he know? By us verbally thanking and complimenting and showing Hakarasatov, which we're going to get to in a second. Now, I want to just quickly give you 2 tools. Can I give you quickly 2 tools?
Okay. We're in. By the way,
number 1.
Reed, how are we doing? We have any questions from anybody?
We know we have a lot of hearts, and people are definitely relating.
Thank you, guys.
So
if you have questions for the Rebbetzin or for me, whatever, just type them in. We'll take them. Okay, go back. You were saying the 2 things.
Okay, you're about to say something negative. You're in your kitchen. You're about to say it. Everybody out there, raise your right hand. Come on, raise your right hand. Okay, you ready? You're going to go like this. Tool number 1, you're about to say it. And then you're going to go like this. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. Right there. You're about to say to that kid, to that husband, to that boss, to that workmate. And instead, now, if that's not good enough for you, okay, if that's not good enough, I'm going to give you tool number 2. Okay, number 2, if there's fire, if you're going to start saying mean things in the house, what's going to happen? There's going to be fire going on in your house. What happens when there's fire? When there's a fire in your house, we stop, drop, and roll, right?
Right.
Okay, that's what we teach everyone. So I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Stop, drop into a chair, and think. Is this action, those words, this comment, a building relationship? Will this build my relationship with this person? Will this bring shalom to my relationship? And if it's not, then we're going to roll into a compliment. So stop, drop, and roll. Okay, sometimes there's chairs in my kitchen because I just fall into the chair right in the kitchen. So if you see a chair in someone's kitchen, you'll know why. You stop, you drop into a chair. That'll give you a second to like, is that going to build? And then when you realize it's not going to build, you're just going to roll into that person's way of complimenting.
So give me an example. What's a kind of thing that you would think to say to somebody and then you would do this? Stop, drop.
Your teenager walks in and looks all their hair is all messed up and you're about to make a compliment to a very sensitive teenager.
A comment, a criticism.
A criticism.
Yeah.
Like, well, your hair's not right, it's not in a ponytail, it doesn't look right. Yeah, and you're about to say that the minute the teenager walks in, okay, or the teenager male that walks in with that shirt hanging out and just looks so schmutzy and you're ready, the kid is 18, you're ready to tuck it in, or even the husband walking in like that. And you're about to say it. The second the person walks in, hard day at work, hard day at school, you stop, you drop, and you find something nice. Oh, to the guy, you're home. It's so great to see you. Or to the girl, wow, you wore that skirt today? You look so pretty in it. The color is fantastic for you.
And then she'll run back upstairs and comb her hair.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like she wants to, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I just wanted to get that in there, okay?
Okay, good. The Chofetz Chaim teaches that it is forbidden to speak badly of someone. Let's hear about that.
I'll let you read the whole thing off. Go on.
Oh, no, you read. I will.
Okay, even when everyone present knows that the information is true and they're not hearing anything new. Now, this is going to give you the chills. You ready? He quotes the words of Rabbeinu Yonah in Chaya Reich 2:17, who says, the correct way of behavior is to cover up the mistakes which others make and to praise them for the good things they do. You ready? It is the way of fools to seek out the mistakes of others and to criticize them. This is so powerful. I teach this to every kala and to every woman that I mentor. Let me explain the power of this. When a person gets married, as we know, there are two neshamas standing underneath a chuppah, and they become one soul. And they wear white on their wedding day. Why? Why does a man wear a kitzur? Why are they in white? Because anything that they did before is erased. It's like their own personal Yom Kippur, and they're coming together. And when they're coming together, everything is clean. Every last thing that they did in the past, and they're being reborn as a new neshama. Very special. This is so important. So I'll give you an example. Here's the slow girl. She gets married to this wonderful guy. And it's about 8 months into the marriage, and she invites her family over. Saturday night, we have something called Malava Malka, right? And she invites her family, her immediate family. So what did I just say? Everyone present knows that the information is true, right? Her immediate family comes over, her mother, her father, and her sibling. That's it. And her husband, her new husband of 8 months. And she says to everybody, what would you like? What do you want to drink? And she asks everybody what they'd like. And this one says coffee, and this one says ice with soda, and this one says tea with milk, whatever she gets everyone's orders. And she goes into the kitchen to make it. And all of a sudden she hears them laughing. Do you remember the time when we had company and mommy sent her to get drinks for everyone? And by the time she came back, the company was gone. And the kids are laughing. Now it's true, it happened and everybody knew, and her new husband is there. And they're going on and on and on with many of these type stories, and everybody's laughing, and she's in the kitchen, and guess what? You see my shoulders now? She's kind of like this in the kitchen. She droops. Did you ever hear the term growing from a compliment? Watch. That's when you grow from a compliment. So let me tell you what happened to her. She was kind of like this in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, her husband looks up, and her husband says, let's say his wife's name was Leah, let's say, okay, all right. And he says, Leah, my Leah knows how to get everything done perfectly. There is no one in the world that I know who can do things exactly, precisely correct, except for my wife, Leah. And all of a sudden, her shoulders are up. She just grew. And then she goes, oh, that's right. He wanted coffee, and she wanted soda with ice. And she remembers everything because her husband was there to do what we just learned. Yeah? To praise them for the good things they do, because it's the way of fools to seek out the mistakes of others and to criticize them. Let's quote the Torah. Let's quote everything is in the Torah. We need to know something. look in the Torah. It's there. Turn it upside down and all around. We don't need to look anywhere else but the Torah. And that's what Rabbeinu Yonah says. And oh my gosh, look at that story.
So I'll tell you that there's we have a thing when women draw, it's very funny. Part of the great thing about the Ladies Talk Show is the fact that we can see that we all are dealing with similar things. It's not just that you got a husband that was defective from the factory. Okay. So, but one of the things that I found absolutely mind-boggling is how people, it's universal. Like everybody, raise your hand, put a thumbs up if your husband is a bad driver. I'll just say it that way. If your husband is like a horrible driver, like everyone thinks that their husband is a horrible driver, and it's almost universal. You can ask anyone, any audience I've ever been in, everyone kind of, like, yes, what is it? Okay. Here's the thing. There's two things, actually. One is that when you're sitting in the driver's seat, you have a certain perspective and you don't look like you're going to hit what are those things called, Sarit, on the side of a car? The mirror thing, the side mirror. Thank you. Okay. So thank you, Sarit.
By the way, I'm channeling my thoughts to you.
Channeling my thoughts.
Mute myself. So it's like, takes me a second.
There you go. So when you're sitting in the driver's seat, they're very far away. When you're sitting in the passenger seat, you're totally not used to being in the passenger seat. So all of a sudden, every mirror that's going by, every car's rear view mirror looks like it's going to crash into the car. So now you're thinking, my husband's a horrible driver. It's like, no, lady, you just moved your perspective to now you're like practically in the sidewalk. Okay. So that's the first thing. That's just to ease you down so that while you're sitting there and steam's coming out of your ear and your eyes are red and you're like, whatever, maybe you're yelling, maybe you're screaming, hopefully not. If you've watched Ladies Talk Show, you maybe have grown through the past those things, but you're sitting there frustrated, recognize that. The second thing is, and here's where it comes into what you're saying. I have many, many women who spend the entire drive in the car correcting their husband. I mean, because, well, he didn't see that car that would cut him off. And he shouldn't be going through that yellow light. He should stop. The light's yellow. So they're yelling the entire time. It's like this running dialogue. They can't even really be together because they're so busy telling their husband how he should be driving. And I have many women that say, Leah, you hit the nail on the head. Guess what? I do the driving. So I can't stand the way my husband drives. And I get it. There's safety issues, or whatever. If he's driving, first of all, his driving predates you most likely, and he probably, I mean, unless your husband's crashing every whatever, he has got to work and home, and he's gone to errands and come back fine. So the fact that you're in the car and like, oh, now that you're in the car, it doesn't increase his risk of whatever. Anyway, whatever. That's another issue. The point I'm trying to make is that rather than having insults or constructive criticism coming out of your mouth, if instead you did exactly what Mrs. Reich is saying, which is have something compliment come out of your mouth. So, your husband's driving along like this and a car, swerves and whatever, and he cuts the person off or whatever, right? Instead of saying, what? You almost got us killed. Say, that was a great maneuver, dear. Memorize that line. That was a great maneuver, dear. So I promise you, within a month, your husband will be a better driver, just because he's like, he realizes you're watching for the good. When you're yelling at your husband and criticizing him and think he's a bad driver and he knows maybe he is a bad driver, whatever, he's gripping the wheel. I need a wheel. He's gripping it like this. Do you think that's going to be a safer driver, or do you think if you're complimenting him all the time? So, okay, back to you, Rebbitzin.
Okay, Leah, I think we need a new book. I think the next book has to be How to Be Quiet When Your Husband is Driving.
No joke.
That would be a bestseller. But there is a question coming from Torah Anytime of someone who wants to know what kind of skills you might be able to give them for removing contempt in a relationship. So obviously there's a lot of baggage and hard feelings that have accumulated over a long period of time.
Wow, that's a heated question. Leah, I'm going to let you answer that.
Okay, very good. So first of all, she used the word contempt. So if you have a minute, explain what you mean by contempt, or maybe write a quick example, like, or if you can. But to answer the question about contempt. So contempt may or may not have anything to do with your husband. It can predate your husband by 20 years. You could have been a girl and, you were in a very frustrating, let's say you were the youngest kid and no one ever let you talk at the table, or your mother never gave you the boost that you needed to have self-confidence. So there are a lot of psychological reasons why a person can have so much anger buried inside that they never got a chance to let out. And now the person closest to them gets the wrath of that. And it's understandable, but it's also fixable. And you also have an obligation to fix it by reading books about it, about your childhood, or about things that happened to you. It also could be that therapists can also help with that kind of thing. So the first thing to do is to isolate and to say, don't be so certain that the contempt that you're feeling inside has anything to do with your husband, So now it may, so we can look at that, but really search hard, because 80% of the time, that kind of anger, unless your husband's really mean or there's abusive situation, then I beg you to get the help that you need. So that's the first thing, is to look in introspect and try and work that out. Or figure that out. The other issue is if there's contempt because there's a lot of passive aggressive things that are going on, and a passive aggressive thing is where someone does something, your husband does something, or you do something to your husband, that if he asked you, you're kind of off the hook. Like, I don't know, what's a good example of a passive aggressive team? Anybody have a passive aggressive thing? Was like, let's say, he said, oh, can you, not finish always leave me milk for my coffee in the morning, right? And then you use all the milk, and it's like, why did you use it, right? So now he's mad at you. He told you not to use it. And you're like, oh, I was afraid it was going to go sour, so I used it. So that was a reasonable, explanation. So you'll get off the hook from doing something that really wasn't very nice. Maybe that's a kind of a little dumb example, but I'm just saying that's, look into Google passive aggressive. Anyway, so if your husband's doing these things to you constantly, and maybe he's been doing avert things, or he's doing what Rebbetzin Reich is saying, which is he's criticizing you constantly, then you need to figure out how you logically, you can use your brain for this. You don't have to use your heart, because in your heart, you're like, you just feel wounded and like a victim and like he's just mean and that's it, But if you use your head and look, we have a lot of shows on anger, controlling anger. If you look into it and you think, I wonder what one thing I might be doing to make it worse. This is not blame the victim. This is figuring out in your own heart, in your own mind, figuring out what you might be doing. So if you have contempt for him, it could be he's mad at you because you never listen to him. You never do what he tells you to do. I have a woman, she called me a few days ago, and she said that I'm going to change the example. She said that her husband, she never does anything her husband wants her to do. Her husband's constantly asking her to do things. So he'll say, please, put out the tablecloth. And she was like, it doesn't need a tablecloth. Mats are fine. And he asked her to do, I'm trying to think of his change. The examples she gave were really reasonable, what he was asking her to do. And he asked her like 4 or 5 of these little things, when you pull into the garage, pull all the way in so it's easy to roll down the thing. It's not, whatever, things like that. She wasn't doing any of them. And she was so mad that he was micromanaging her. And I said, how much energy are you taking up to be angry at your husband versus
just doing it?
Do it. Just try it. Just do it. If you listen to what he needs, even as ridiculous as, or you don't agree with it, or it's wrong, and placemats are fine, use the tablecloth. What's it really going to cost you? And by doing that, and by doing his will, he's going to love you more. He's going to cut you more slack. So it was very hard for this woman, because I said to her, and this is what this word contempt reminds me of. It's like she's mad at him for being how he is, without recognizing what she could potentially do that really wouldn't be that much effort. I mean, she admitted it would not be too much effort to do that. She's going to try that. But here's the thing. Once you try that, once you try and see what what part you might be playing in the dysfunction or the thing that's not working or whatever, you get power. We're women. We get power instead of feeling like a victim. We have action we can take Okay, it might be annoying because then she emailed me back and she said, I really liked what you said and I really think it's important, but my brain is ready to go, but my emotions can't follow suit, Leah. I just, like, when I'm supposed to put the tablecloth on, I'm so angry. And I said, yeah. I said, that will happen the first 10 times you do it. And then you'll start to see the payoff and feeling closer to your husband, feeling less aggravated, so that, it's a little hurdle to get over. Just do the actions. And that's what she's going to do. So she's going to report back. I'll try and remember to report back to you. But the bottom line is, for the woman who asked the question, thank you very much for asking the question. And if you have that kind of contempt, do introspection. And then secondly, think about what you might be doing, even if he's 99% wrong, and you are 1% wrong. Look at that 1% and make a shift there. And guaranteed, this is not Leah Richeimer. This is our Masora 3,000-year-old track record of success. If you take care of this 1%, you will definitely see a shift over here. Okay, that's great.
Rebbitzin Reich, we have a question from Facebook that actually ties into the whole title. She gives a different example, but she basically says, what can you do when your husband tells you he's going to do something, but ends up never doing it? Now that ties into, obviously, you want him to take out the garbage. He tells you he's going to take out the garbage and he never does. That's our title. But her specific example is, and it could be very different, the answer, depending on her example, but hers is, I'm starting a diet and health program next week, and it's been 6 months and he still hasn't started. And obviously his wife feels he needs to be on this health program and diet.
Right. I hear. So she said that he's not starting the diet. Yes.
Correct. Meaning that anytime he tells her he's going to do something, he just doesn't come through at the end. And she's just disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as far as that, maybe she could ask him what she can do to make it easier for him. Maybe she can say, I see it's really hard for you. It's really difficult for you to start this. What can I do to help you? Can I prepare meals for you? Can we sit down together? Can I do the shopping for you? Can we make a list together? This is not just, I love you just the way you are. This is not just something because of your looks. If it's already a health issue and a doctor has told him to do it for his health, I love you very much and I need you in my life. And so I'm willing to do anything that I can to help you get healthy. So what can I help you? How can we do it together? Can we walk together at night? I
like the answer, but I will tell you just that there's an issue of when a husband feels attractive to his wife. So I get that there's a health component and an attraction, and a looks component, and they get confused and conflagrated, and it makes is that a right word? Whatever. They get mushed together. So
mushed up.
They get mushed up. So, but separating them aside, if a husband feels attractive and good looking to his wife, even if the wife has to lie because he's put on 50 pounds or whatever, not lie, but she has to learn to love a different him, or not a different him, but love him how he is or whatever. If there's kind of a little bit more, a lot more acceptance of the husband, that's the number one way of getting a husband to care more about it. So if there's compliments about his looks and this is from Chazal. The Chazal talk about how motivating it and inspiring it is for a man to think of himself and how his wife sees him is absolutely crucial. And if a husband thinks that his wife sees him as fat, overweight, or not healthy or whatever, he's zero motivation to work on it. Whereas if she says, you're doing great, I noticed you're looking thinner, even if he's not, and we don't want to lie, and there's a lot you can do for shalom and a lot you can do to build someone. You might tell when a kid brings a picture of a person and the fingers are like this and the head is way oversized and whatever, you're like, oh, that's terrific. Oh yeah, it's not a lie. It's, you're building them. Same thing with a husband. The more you build him in this, the more motivated he'll be. So for instance, if it is a health issue and the doctor gave him, you got this and you have to do whatever, then I think, Mrs. Reich, I think you're 1,000% right about the helping aspect, but you also have to look at the other aspect, which is if you tell him, look, I really I don't want you to feel like I'm disappointed in words, not in, if you say, I don't want you to feel like I'm disappointed in how you look, he might read that as not true. But if you said, or say something like, I think in my eyes, you look terrific. If you said something like that, oh my gosh, it means the world.
Agreed. Agreed. Thank you.
Totally turn them into the bird. We're running out of time and I want to get
to. We have to get to the best part. Let's get to the best part. Okay, we're going to the best part. Okay, what's the best part? The Torah tells us, kind, positive, uplifting words. It says that a kind word can lift a person's spirits and sometimes change his life for the better. Okay, I'm going to tell you one quick story and then we're going to get practical. Okay. So this story took place in Israel. It's a true story. There was a young child. It was during Purim time, about a 7-8-year-old child. And the mother sent the child out to the trimming store to get trimming to match the Purim outfits. And the mother said to the trimming, like ribbon, like a ribbon to match outfits.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like a little edging on
an edging, right? That had to be exactly the right color. Okay. So she said to the little girl, go to the store. And in the store, there's a very tall man with glasses on, and only he knows how to match ribbon. Don't ask anyone else because he's a maven. He's the expert. Only he knows how to match ribbon. So the kid, 7, 8 years old goes, okay, mommy, in Eretz Yisrael, they go out nice and young to the stores. Mm-hmm. And here the kid goes, to the store on the corner and comes in, and the kid's walking around and looking for somebody with glasses and somebody tall. And the kid sees somebody with glasses and very tall because the person was up on a ladder. So the kid comes over and goes, excuse me, to the person on the ladder and says, my Ima said that only you know how to match ribbon and you're the expert and I shouldn't go to anyone else. And the guy comes down the ladder and he goes, what? And the kid repeats it again. And he says, me? And he says, yeah. And the man says, okay, let me have the cloth. And now the store was closing for the afternoon siesta, the afternoon break. And he says, okay, come back when we open up and I'll have the ribbon. So fine. So as he's leaving, he realizes when the guy comes down from the ladder that he's not so tall. So he goes home and she goes home and says, Ima, I went to the man and she explains what the man looked like. And the Ima says, what? That's the schlepper, the guy that does all the schlepping work. The carrying that's who you stuff, yeah. The carrying work. You went to him? He doesn't know anything, that man. So let me tell you the story about this man, okay? This man was a very big professional. And his child was killed in a very severe terrorist attack in Israel. Oh my gosh. And he could not get over what happened to this child. And he just became a drunk. He became an alcoholic. He couldn't function anymore. He lost his job. And all his friends came together. And his friends asked this ribbon store to keep him there just to stock shelves, to keep him off the street, because they kept finding him literally drunk on the street corners. This very important man. And his friends didn't know what to do anymore. It had been a year already, and he just wasn't functioning. That day, this is an unbelievable story. That day, the owners were planning to fire him because they said it's very good and very nice, but every day during the lunch break, he goes out and drinks, and then he comes back and he's dead drunk with all the children and people in the store, and we can't have him anymore. Let me tell you what happened that day. That day, he got a compliment from a child by mistake. What did he do? Leah, he went into the back and he went through, he writes about the story, hundreds of boxes to find the exact perfect shade of ribbon. Mm. And when the child came, he had the right shade. And this story makes me cry every time I tell it. He writes that right after this incident, he went and got help for himself. He's joined a 12-step program. He went for therapy. I have them also every time I tell the story. He went for therapy. He pulled himself together and he became a mensch again. And he writes that it was all because of a compliment that he got from a child by mistake. This is what we're talking about today. Words can change lives. Ladies, I ask all of you to use Yabina Yasera. Yabina Yasera is an extra dimension of wisdom, like women's intuition that was given to you as a gift just because you were born a woman. Use it, and you know how to build your husband. You know how to build your friends. You know how to build your children. You know, because it was given to you. Bina means building. Bina Yasera, you can do it. So go out there and use it. And I'm going to ask every one of you practically right now to take a moment and think of someone you need to daven for. And in the zechus of that person, I'm going to ask you to do something called Hakarasatov. Hakarasatov is a very major Jewish idea, and it means appreciating the good. Everybody has in their life so much good, so much good. I want everybody out there to take a moment, and I want you to think of 2 compliments that you're going to give to that person whose relationship you're working with, whether it's a spouse or the teenager or the young child or your mother-in-law. And send them all in. Send them to Sarit, send them in, write them down. Okay,
what are they writing down?
Rock the world. Okay, let's rock the world with goodness.
Right.
Let's rock the world.
2 compliments is what they're writing in.
2 compliments to your teenager, your kids, your mother-in-law, your husband,
So
your husband.
Sarit, they can do it anonymous. They can write it in.
Do it anonymous. It can be anonymous. I want to know. I want to know what you're going to tell them. Now practice, even if it's something not true. Who's going to benefit? Who's going to benefit from this, ladies? Us and our kids, right? That's who's going to benefit. Because remember, what does a husband want most out of his life? To make his wife happy. And if we're always criticizing, we're not making him happy. He doesn't want to.
By the way, I get a lot of women who say to me, everyone wants to make their husband and wife happy except my husband. And ladies, I'm just telling you, it's a chazal that there's a from our Masorah, we know he wants to make us happy. So there could be blockages from his end, or he gave and you didn't receive, or, there could be a lot of history there. That's a whole other, we have shows on that kind of thing, but, and we talk about it, but you should just know your husband, in his heart of hearts, in the depths of his soul, the thing he wants most in the world is to make you happy.
That's right. And if you're not seeing it, and if you don't see it, you're not looking good enough. I'll give you a bunch of quick examples. Thanks for filling the car with gas. It saved me time. Another example. Thanks for bathing the kids. You're a great help. Thanks for taking the garbage out. It's so great to have a strong man around. Okay? There are so many things that we can say. If you say there's nothing to thank your husband for, you're not looking.
Yeah, Rebbe Tzimreich, I have to tell you firstly, because it's so powerful, that we had Pearl, Lauren, and a couple of other people who said they're crying from the story, literally wrote, "I'm crying" on Instagram. One said there's no such things as mistakes. So look at what that mistake brought about, obviously, no such thing as mistakes. And actually from your Bina Yasera comment, woman's intuition, one of our Instagrammers says she's naming her next child Bina. So that she will always, isn't that amazing? So that she will
love it.
Yeah. So that she was always remember that piece, which, was so powerful.
I love it. So
and I have, by the way, 5 minutes. So if you wanted to do your special, you had one part where you said you wanted to make sure we covered. So I just want to let you know there's the 5-minute countdown.
Yes. Okay. So very, very important. Okay. I'm going to give a last example about the garbage, and then I'm going to go into what I want to say.
I didn't want you to forget that. Okay.
Yes. Good. Okay. So you asked me before about what the dressing has to do for garbage. So imagine we're in that outfit with the tomato stains and the oil stain, and the husband comes on and we say, "Hey, you forgot to take the garbage out," and you fling the garbage towards him, and a chicken bone flies out and hits him in the head. Okay, so we could do that, or we could say, "Oh, you're thinking about taking out the garbage because, the flies were about to carry it out." Or how about the lady that I met from Australia? You know what she said? "I tell my husband, I don't do garbage." Now imagine being married to that. Okay, so we could try that. That's not going to work. Or we can say, wow, that's so nice. You're taking the garbage out for me? I really appreciate it. Now, when your husband and your big boys come home, do not go, oh, take out the garbage. No, 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 no. Feed them first. Say hello to them first. Give them a drink first. This is not important. Otherwise, it's important if you want a night of garbage. But no one wants a night of garbage. So this is not important. Feed them, talk to them. And then at some point later on, say, oh, you know, I'm really happy you're home because it would be so helpful if you could take out the garbage. So strong. So it's kind of a sandwich. We said a compliment, we said what we needed, and then we said another compliment. Okay, so that's that tool. Okay, now I want to go into the last thing that I really want to say, which is very important, and a lot of questions that you answered that I wanted to add on, including the contempt lady. I wanted to say that your husband cannot be your roommate, ladies. Your husband needs to be your soulmate. He needs to be your soulmate. And Amir Hashem, I'm starting some workshops in 2 to 3 weeks, either July 14th or July 21st, called Soulmates. And if he's not your soulmate, then we need to teach him we need to teach you how to make your husband your soulmate. And there's so much great material out there. But the bottom line is, if he's your soulmate, then you won't have anger towards him, right?
Good.
Because
how can they get a hold of you, Chaya? Give us their email address.
Yes. So my email is chaya@cozyrosiebooks.com. And if you are listening
behind there, by the way, everybody look at, if you see behind Chaya is her book. She has these children's books that are also children's and mommy type of things. Really wonderful. They have treasure hunts in them and all kinds of, and the CD comes with a song. It's very, very nice. And I thought they were very reasonably priced. I thought, you know, from Amazon, shipped right to your house. So good. So you were saying that. So
I want anybody that's calling in and cannot get on, you know, I know we have a lot of people calling in. The phone number to register for the classes is 845-208-5821. So in the classes, we'll get inspired, we'll get practical. That's why I love Leah's book. We'll use Leah's book because that's my go-to book, because I like the practical and I like that it's not like, oh, we just heard a good class and like, goodbye. That's not it. Today, what we spoke about is a piece of my workshop, and we already have the homework. So let's just summarize. What did we learn today? We learned that if we're going to say something mean, we're going to put our hand over our mouth, and then we're going to go, good girl. And a minute later, you might say something mean again. That's okay, because no one's perfect, and it's going to take you time, especially the one that's married 20 years that has big holes, right? So the next time it happens, we're going to try again. Don't give it up. And again, we're going to pat ourselves. We're going to encourage ourselves. Good girl, you're a good girl. You're so good. Okay. And then the second tool we learned was to stop, drop, and think, shalom above all. Will this comment bring shalom? And if it's not going to bring shalom, we're going to roll into a compliment right away instead of something negative. So we have our second tool, right? And what was the third thing that I wanted to say? Tell me, what was the third tool? Oh, the third thing was Hakarasatov. Yes, we're going to ask everyone every day to say at least, I really would like 10 compliments, but let's start with 2 and build yourself up to 10. It should be very easy, really very easy.
Why is it easy?
Because people do a lot for each other in their lives, and it's easy. You can compliment someone on their appearance. You know, I'll tell you a story. My husband once, when my kids were little, walked in and I did everything wrong. All the things I teach about in my workshops, it was all wrong. I was in the wrong outfit. The kids weren't dressed yet. There was pretzels on the floor. There was Cheerios, and we were crunching on them. And he was coming home any minute, and I was trying to pull things together. I had a very tough day. I can't remember what was going on then, but something like was going on, something major in the world. And he walked in, and I felt terrible. Like he walked into this craziness. And I wanted to sweep up so that he wouldn't crunch on the pretzels, right? So the broom had been there for about an hour. And when he walked in, he went, hi. And he kind of leaned on the broom. He leaned on the broom. And I went, look at this. The second Tati walks in, he goes to sweep. Look at this. What an amazing Tati. And right away, I looked at my kids who were on the floor, and they looked up because I had asked them to clean up the pretzels and they didn't want to. So I'm like, Tati's amazing. And they started clapping. Tati, 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 Tati's home. Yay for Tati. And the next thing I knew it, Tati started sweeping up. Now, I guarantee you, Tati did not plan to sweep up. But like everybody is like giving him applause and he's sweeping up. We have a Bina Yisera. We can be so creative. There's so many things we can say to them. Any little thing, your husband's playing with one of the kids. Wow, thanks for playing with so-and-so. It gave me 5 minutes to breathe. Thanks for telling so-and-so's story. Hey, wow, thanks for singing Zmiros songs at the Shabbos table.
Okay, I think we got it. Ladies, are you up?
Got it.
Go, let's do it.
Let's do this.
Chaya, you have one last thing. So they're going to reach you at chaya@cozyrosiebooks.com. You can find your books on Judaica's shops or on Amazon. Get them. Really,
yes, you can see me on Instagram. Also have an Instagram page. I just opened it. It's Cozy Rosie Books.
That's fantastic. Or on Torah Anytime. Actually, also now all of my shows are on Torah Anytime, so you can find everything there. All the Ladies Talk shows and going back, all the Marriage Minutes, they're all listed on Torah Anytime. They also have a daily dose, which is unbelievable. Like every day in your inbox, you get this thing on your phone, whatever. It's a WhatsApp group, whatever. If you'd like that, that's TorahAnytime.com. Okay, thank you so much for being with us, Chaya. This was
thank you so much for having me.
Stories very much.
It was really fun.
Okay, this is Leah Richeimer for the Ladies Talk Show. We'll see you next time.